Everybody, it's Doom here, and we're back for part 2 of the Mimic. I can show you the 3.5 monster manual. It's right there. And the entry shows him with some dumpy arms, and that is not how I picture a Mimic. So, I've made a Mimic how I kind of picture them. So what we want to do first is we want to get a little bit of a soft brush and some white paint. And we want to see what kind of detail we're working with before we even get started. We're going to need to get a lot of white inside that mouth, or a really good coat of red in there, one or the other. So it looks like we didn't manage to save some detail. Here and there. So we're not at a total loss in that department. And we're going to want to get some white down in that mouth for sure. So what I think I'm going to do is get like a longer, softer brush that I can just kind of shove in there. So let me see what I got. This is pretty big. Let's get some red. Let's see what we can do. We want as much of that red in there as we can get. There's just that little corner back there where I can't seem to get in and get my red going. Okay, then we can paint all inside here once you get your red, as much as you can get, obviously. If you can't get it all, you can't get it all. But you can get it all around there. You might as well just brush the tongue with that too while you're at it. Okay. I'm going to wipe off some of this excess paint I got on the outside, because that's not going to help my next step much. And I'm just going to pull that around and blend it in with some of the other parts and get rid of some of it. I'm going to be repainting this brown, so getting rid of some of that extra paint so it dries easier is just a good move on my part right now. Okay. Now, we're going to be show-offs. I've already used some magic. Now I'm going to use a magic item. This is a +2 hot air gun of burning. And this ancient magic item from the time before essentially lets you produce a large amount of heat in concentrated areas for small amounts of time. So now I'm going to get burnt umber craft paint. And I'm going to dampen up a brush, and this was burnt umber, like I said, from this is from Walmart. It's just apple barrel. A lot of my non-miniature brand stuff, like stuff that's not specifically made for miniatures, comes from wherever I can get to on the way home. So like a Walmart. If I need to go to a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby or Joann's or anything like that, if that's, my only option, I'll go out of my way to do that. But if I can go to Walmart and in one trip get everything I need, and I hate that Walmart is the answer because, they're like a giant corporation that sucks the life out of us, but truthfully, as far as ease of access go, they really don't have a lot of competitors out there. Maybe if you live where they have like Myers and other stuff, but for me it's just Walmart. That's just what's here. But I live in a small town in West Virginia, so I can't imagine another business could come in and generate any kind of real competition for them. That could be wrong. Our city council sure has no ambitions of drawing any real business in besides lying, cheating, and stealing and lining their own pockets. I've stood up to them before and lost. Well, I've stood up to them and won too, but the last time was a loss. They increased our water and sewer rates to pay for upgrade projects for potential businesses that were coming into our area. And that's actually against the state ethic codes. But apparently in my state, they have a law called the Home Rule Law that if your city is big enough, they can pay a yearly fee and just ignore things like ethics committees and stuff like that. Public Service Commission, all the things that are there to protect us. If they know it's best because the city's big enough and they pay this yearly fee, they can just do what they want. I would suggest before you move into a city to find out if they are a home rule city, because apparently it's not just in West Virginia. I found out after the fact. I found it out the hard way when the Public Service Commission and the State Ethics Committee just kind of gave up on helping us. They just weren't interested. And then we found out why. And it was pretty bumming, because I was all about, we have a lot of like fixed income elderly in our town that I knew just could not. We have a lot of single parents, particularly single mothers in our town, that just could not, on their fixed incomes, deal with these increases. And the economy was already starting to get kind of how it is. And I stood up and fought and went and spoke at city council. And of the 7 city council members, I got one of them to vote against the increases, and 6 of them knowing it was wrong, but they were lining their pockets, voted for it. So now I'm going to come back with a like a softer brush, something like this. Actually, no, I'm going to use this one because I like it better. And then I'm going to use a medium brown paint. And I'm going to do a half butt dry brush just to give it some variation. And when I say half butt dry brush, what I mean is I'm not hitting every spot of it like, I'm just trying to change the tonal darkness of it with this. And there's a little bit of pink showing through I'm seeing now. So really, this isn't going to hurt more than anything. It's going to help. Okay. And I'm not doing a spectacular paint job or trying to hit everything like I said. I'm just lightening it up some. And I'm going to do a little bit of that one on the base too while we're here. But I'm not going to lighten the base up anymore beyond this point. That's as exciting as the base is going to get for us. I need to get a little bit back in there, which means I'm using way too much paint. Okay. Way too much paint in the back there. We can throw some flock on here if we want, though. Alright, so we're going to have to hit this guy with the +200 gun of burning again real quick. And then we're going to get that same small brush I was using before, that size 3. It's like my workhorse brush. And I'm going to get a little bit of khaki. I'm going to get a little bit of this golden yellow. I'm going to just mix those together. Like that. And I'm going to wipe a lot of that off. Okay. And I'm just going to start dragging that around horizontally across the model. It's okay if you hit the teeth and stuff when you're doing this. But don't hit the tongue if you can help it, because you don't want to have to come back and work with that again, You don't want to hit the base either. Anything you don't want to do again, be careful. But again, with the teeth, we're going to be painting those. So I'm not overly worried about that. Okay. And don't worry about over lightening this up. Because we are going to be darkening this up one more time real quick too. Alright, we're starting to get there. Alright, I'm using the same brush, And I'm getting a pinker color, and I'm using this is called Pink Parfait, and I'm just going to use a little bit of this to create a little bit of the vibrant variation across this thing's tongue. And again, I'm not getting down in all the cracks or spending a large amount of time perfecting this. Okay. Then we're going to hit it with the plus 200 gun of burning while I clean that brush. That brush is clean. I'm going to get this crappy brush that has a little bit of a fan tip to it. I'm going to get this Cameo Pink, and I'm going to try to give this a half butt dry brushing. You're starting to think to yourself, Doom, I think you just call stuff what you want to call it. Hey, you're right. You figured me out. All right. That is a very light pink. And that's going to give me a little bit of what I want. And I'm going to brush it around inside the mouth a little bit, just to create some variation in there. Okay, I'm going to hit this guy one more time around here, just to show that we put a little effort into that tongue. Okay, sweet. I'm going to get a really little brush. This is my starter brush. I'm going to take this yellow brown we made and this white. I could just grab an off-white, but since this stuff was here, then I'm going to paint his teeth. And I'm not going all the way up where the teeth connect, because I kind of want to simulate there's a gum line there. Now you can do yours the way you want. It's yours, but that's how I want to do mine. And then if there's any little weird nubs that I think I can pull off to make it look like a tooth, I'll try to catch those too, but I don't really see any. Okay. Not perfect, not terrible. And since we have this light white out, or this white out anyways, I'm just going to get a little bit of that, as much as I can. It's pretty dry at this point. My brush is a little damp though, and I'm going to grab that and get it evenly in my brush. Then I'm just going to touch the tips of those teeth a little bit. And do something like that. Alright, I'm getting pretty happy. We're closing in on the victory lap here. Grab a little piece of plastic or something that you can use, and make a little wash or use a speed paint. And so what I want to do is to give him a rich color that's separate from the base. Well, first I'm going to paint around the base in black. So I'm going to get some black paint out real fast for that. Oops, I dropped a brush down in my thing where I keep my big paints. I'm just using that workhorse size 3 brush I use for pretty much everything these days. I got this brush in a weird Goodwill used set of something, and it was kind of already falling apart when I got it. It was purple. I really don't like the color purple. My favorite color is red. So as it was falling apart and just getting harder and harder to use, and chunks of the paint were popping off and landed and stuff I was working with, I decided to restore this brush to some kind of usable state. And what I did was I painted it, or I didn't paint, I used my fingers and I rubbed regular Elmer's all over it and filled in all the pores and cracks where it was falling apart. And then I let that dry, and when it was pretty much dry, I hit it with a hot air gun. Then I covered it with a Mod Podge and glue mix. And then I painted it red a couple times. And then I covered it with some semi-gloss Mod Podge. And then I just wrote number 3, Doom. Because in case I forgot what size it was, because I likely could forget something like that. All right, so we're going to get that little piece of plastic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a brown speed paint. This is called Hardened Leather. And I'm just going to bring some tone to this to make it look different than the base and to pretty it up some. And any little detail and cracks and stuff that this thing has left over from my terrible crafting job should become the payoff now. Okay? Because this is the secret power of speed paint, is it will fill in cracks easily. It wants the cracks. It finds them. And since we have something multi-tonal under there, we use a medium instead of a dark speed paint. And it still brings the color out and makes it look nice. But we don't go overboard. Now, we could have gone really, really fancy with this guy, but I think the crafting video of him was already pushing a half an hour and I didn't do it. But we could have put like some metal straps on here, banding, you know, a lock. But I think that since the mimics are a magical creature that just kind of simulates what it wants to look like, so you'll come get close to it so it can eat you, that it's going to be a very basic looking large chest. And it's not going to be having a bunch of those kind of extra details, in my opinion. So I'm pretty happy with him at this point. I think that he's everything I wanted him to be and more. I'm going to come down here and do a little touch up around that tongue because I think it's some of that pink is just a little obnoxious. I'm just going to get back around the edge of his mouth a little bit. Take back some of that area to brown. All right. Clean and brush. Love this brush. It's so good. Clean this brush. Yes, we did use like 4 or 5 different brushes. I know. I'm sorry. But if we only use like 1 or 2 brushes, we're not going to get spectacular looks. And I think what we could do is make his tongue look nicer too, actually. I have a pink speed paint that I don't know if I've even tried yet. So let's go look. Let's see what we can do with that. All right, where's that at? Purple. Is it? Maybe it was purple. Okay. Yeah, okay, it was purple, not pink. I'm not sure if I feel real confident about using that purple with that, but we can. I have used this purple, but for some reason I thought it was pink. All right. If anybody wants to come to the Pittsburgh area and take me to see Evil Dead, the musical, hey, I am open to that. I am open to going to see that. Nobody I know wants to go with me. Nobody is, like, interested in that. I don't know why. It seems like it would be amazing. I really, really, really want to go see it. But the people in my life are just not interested in the least. I told my oldest boy, and he was just like, okay, why? What do you mean, why? Freaking songs about deadites eaten by the love of my life. I'm not a big musical guy, but that just sounds amazing to me. Actually, I think I've only ever sat through one musical that wasn't one of my kids' plays or something. Oh, no, that's true. True. I went to my cousin's play, too, and I actually did enjoy myself. My cousin's high school did Beauty and the Beast. And my cousins are a lot younger than me. You know, I'm 45, and the oldest of that group of cousins is, I think, 20. So, you know, it's big. I came back from the Army, and then they were born. So, all right, so there's our Mimic. I think he looks pretty stellar. I'm pretty happy with him. I'm going to let him completely dry in front of the fan, and I'm going to hit him with a clear coat. And then I'll bring him upstairs, put him on the table, shoot a short about how you run Mimics, and that's where we're going to go from here. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. I know there's a lot on YouTube. At this point, please hit like, subscribe, notification bell icon. Please share if you feel like you can. Leave me a comment. I love comments. If you go in the description, there's a link to the Dungeon Swag website, which is just me and a guy named Ascorbic. We run it out of our basements. I do this kind of stuff, and he actually prints them and sends them. We pick the miniatures together, and we sell miniatures on there. And there's a monthly box that is to help fill up your collection, and then there's one-offs, things that are too big to put in the box. So we're real excited to share that with you guys, and we hope some of you decide to check that out. You can get a free mini. There's a discount code on our Discord for that. You don't even have to pay shipping. We'll send you one to see if you like them. If you're not sure, you want to check us out and see what we're about. There's also going to be a link in the description for our Discord, where you can come on there and talk about Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop role-playing games, ask questions, and maybe I can help you or somebody else on there can help you. You can paint on there. We have some different channels where you can display your art, whether it's painting miniatures, making terrain, crocheting, woodworking, whatever it may be. Just sharing art with other people that are interested in art. And we could do some RP stuff on there and play video games on there too. So there's a lot of options. I'd love to see you join us. So I'm going to call that a win. I think our next one's the Mind Flayer, and I'm a little nervous about that one because some of these are hard. This one wasn't particularly hard, but I've done stuff like this. I had an idea of how this was going to go. For the Mind Flayer, I don't really have a plan, so we'll see how it turns out. Maybe it'll be awesome. Maybe it'll be terrible. Maybe it'll be like the Mephit that I had to throw across the garage. We'll see. Thanks for watching.